What up is with TV and reaction? So today's Wrestling Wednesday, but I was thinking I was going to probably push to Films Friday, but I just want to watch it now. So wrestling, film, let me see what the right channel I say. Cinema Relax had a casual of the kids from Honey I Shrunk the Kids. If you grew up with Honey I Shrunk the Kids, Honey I Shrunk the Kids was like one of the greatest movies of Disney, late 90s, late 80s Disney era of all time as well. It was crazy. I mean, that was my childhood right there. Like, I remember that movie from beginning to end, though. There's some fun moments, everything, though. So, this one recently a reunion with the kids, and also it was also a video with the lead man himself, Rick Moranis, though. Sadly, the one who played the mother passed away. Uh, so there's that. But anyway, without further ado, let's check out this reunion. This cast reunions of kids from the Honey I Shrunk the Kids. So let's get it.
Is it Auntie? Is it Aunt? Yes!
Auntie.
He's seen better days.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Meet cast members Thomas Brown, who played
he
Little
still
Russ.
is great. Like he still is great in great shape.
Amy O'Neill, who played Amy. And Jared Rushton, who played Ron.
Little worm.
Hopefully, reconnecting with this artifact and each other will spark some memories.
How hard is it? Oh, what's you saying? It's the underrated one. Without to him carrying on blew up the kid.
Interesting to find.
You know, I didn't find it. It was recovered by the Disney archives. There's a lot of damage that's happened over the years.
Yeah.
This is all that's left.
Beautiful.
Let's grab a seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an important.
That was Ron Ferry pet auntie, and he was heartbroken when he died at the fighting with Scorpion.
Piece. It's a sign of how they did things in the 80s, and now something like this would have been done with the.
And I remember, and one thing I also remember, I was on the anti and it was a ride. It was like a little play area when I went to Disney World one time. I was like as a kid, and it was an MGM studio park, and they had like a little ante right there. I remember sitting on there, and there was a slide with the film. It was pretty cool. So
Giant green blob and CGI'd over the top of it.
Oh, yeah. And you can see just how much was going on inside of that, why you needed, one person with the aperture to turn everything and twist everything.
Yeah, it's all mechanical controls inside there.
And then there was 8 or 9 guys doing the legs.
All these guys were dressed like ninjas in black outfits.
Look at the hair. You can still see the hair.
That material covered everything, the whole ant,
And then they kept it slick. They had put this like gel slick on it so it had that shine to it. It's just so weird. It's all the skin is gone. He was so realistic there. It is kind of weird seeing the bones of it.
I think it's beautiful. The size of it brings me
all three of them look great. To be honest, all three of them look great. Right
back
now.
to relating to this ant.
Oh yeah, the thing was massive. I mean, it was pretty good size. It was basically the size of a horse or a moose. And there was several different ants. I think they had the bucking ant.
Yeah, there was just a buck and bronco with an ant shell put on it.
It's interesting. Did you ride it in the film?
Yeah. No, I get bucked off. We tried to tame it.
And then this is your character's best buddies, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Shoo! Looks like you got a new pet. I was surprised to see it. My instinct was like, oh, is Jared okay?
That's so sweet. That's really
because
sweet
in the
of you.
movie, it was a big turning point for his character, just showing the humanity of his kid.
Because he was if you remember if you watched it the whole time, he was a jerk. He was a little animal the whole time. And then the thing with Annie showed his little verbal side too, especially when the ant died to the fight with the scorpion.
I think in a lot of ways he kind of solidified the idea of an adventure for kids who were watching the movie, to suddenly have the creature aiding you. I remember kids in the theater, crying when the ant died. And
it's gonna be okay.
it's also a testament to the model makers for their ability to humanize it to a degree that we could identify with it and get emotionally attached to it.
That's why stuff like this is important. This represents this journey that you guys have been on. I think the rest of it was destroyed. I think it's just luck that this thing survived.
It's definitely nice to go down memory lane and think about some of the stuff.
It was a good-natured, sincere film, so it's something that I'm happy to be associated with. I think we all are.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm looking at to see what Robert Oliveri, aka Nick, looks like. He still looks great. He still looks good himself as well too. I mean, a little bit less of a hair, but he still looks great. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's good to see him still doing his thing as well too. So yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot he was on Ever Scissorhands. Yup. The Con Witch, and the one kid that was like the one that did the mole. He sadly passed away, and that was what was his name? Carl Steven. He sadly passed away in 2011 as well too. RIP to him as well too. And like I said, the mom passed away. That was Diane Selinsky, Marcy Charlesman. She died in 2014. You know, Kathy Sullivan. She been doing things well too. And who's the oh yeah, Matt Frewer, man. He's still a cool dude. I've seen him in later stuff, but I feel like it must be right if I show love to the man behind it as well too. So hold on a second. I'm back. So I feel like I had to add this video too, because man, gotta give this man his flowers, man. You know, he after I think if his wife passed. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. That the reason why he retired from the film because his wife passed away. I think that was it. Yeah, his wife passed away, and ever since then that's what his breaking point to step away from films for a while and anything. So yeah, but yeah, today is from the work affiliate ladies. I'm single parent. I just found that studio to manage. Yeah, because his wife passed away in '91, but yeah, I even declined the invitation to the Ghostbuster, the 2016. Well, I declined to that one, but still, but yeah, gotta give the man Rick Moranis, man, the man behind, man, the legendary actor, man. Hurry, and also behind the scenes, Hurry's a great person, man. Everybody love that man as well too, man. I heard a story that if you also know, his other best role was Lewis on Ghostbuster, and I love like underrated character as well too. But this was the movie that made him a bigger star here. So let's check this one out.
Yeah, well, I think I still have a pair that is very similar to that. These have been in and out of style multiple times since the movie. But it's good to know that this exists, because the only thing that I did save from the movies that I was in, because
the other one is, I forgot, Little Shop Horror was the other movie, but this was the breakout one. It made him a bigger star.
I was using prescription glasses. I would usually take a pair of glasses, and I pretty much have a pair of glasses from every film that I did.
That's smart.
Yep.
And I also kept a couple of 8x10 photos.
Oh, really?
Use them as things to raise money for auctions and various things, and send to fans, stuff like that when people would write.
This man's flowers.
Everything's gone now. I don't have anything left.
What's interesting about this stuff is after the film is done, you still have these items. And it may just be a set of glasses and a broken watch, or it might be a giant
I didn't break
net.
the watch. When I gave the prop guy back the watch,
the Casio Chrono.
It was perfectly fine.
It was in good shape,
so I don't want a bill for this watch.
I don't know. It's a pretty expensive model there.
I remember when he came to me with the watch. I do, because that was state of the art at that time.
It was.
A scientist, therefore he should have a calculator watch.
Absolutely.
And look where we are today.
That's right. So, as an actor, how much help do you get from the props around you?
You wouldn't be able to do it without it. You have to have all the tools that you need. Costumes, props, helmets to build a character, absolutely critical.
So what's the deal? It seems like a lot of your characters in productions you've been in wear odd helmets.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought about this. You're absolutely right. I wound up with a lot of interesting...
He's right. That's right. Spaceball. Let's talk about Spaceball.
Headgear, and I think it totally has to do with the fact that the short spate of films that I was in the 80s happened to coincide with a renewed interest in science fiction. And that was the result of Star Wars primarily and Close Encounters. So science fiction really boomed, and that's when comedy came in. And suddenly I wound up in these films where for some reason these characters, you're absolutely right, wind up wearing these odd headpieces.
Yeah.
Now, the contraption that I wore in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with the lights and the magnifying glass, a lot of fun.
Now, we do have a replica. This is built using as many original parts as possible.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a homemade thing.
That's the idea, right?
Sure.
Your character would have made something like this.
That's right.
With material that's around you. This is just a hockey helmet with, exposure box with some lights and some magnifying glasses. You put this crazy helmet on, it's out of need to try and find your kids.
I remember that. I, of course, remember the harness.
Yeah. How difficult was that? Be suspended over the yards.
It wasn't hard for me. I think it was hard for everybody else.
Who was trying to keep
I was laying in a hammock on my stomach.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't difficult for me at all.
What does that film mean to you 30 years later?
Just how much fun it was. But if that were made today, it would be made very differently. Probably just with green screen and computer-generated stuff.
Yes. I mean, it's a film to this day that just holds up.
But so much of that is the work of Joe Johnston. I mean, he had the vision of this in his head.
That's a good vision, too.
On that movie, I was really an actor. I think I drove him crazy a couple of times trying to get more comedy into it, because I was always looking for how to disrupt and get some more jokes in, and poor Joe just wanted to make his movie.
I kind of heard that he's all about the comedy because he came from the SCTV, it was like Canada, I could say a Canada version of SNL. This was like a good amount of the other folks like John Candy. I think Steve Martin came from there. Carol Ramos as well too. RP and Darren Rule. No, not Darren. Darren was SNL. So yeah, so it was like the sister to that in a way. And it was word that John Candy was originally going to play Lewis, but he wasn't supposed to be all awkward as John had at first. John really didn't have any awkward things that he felt like this wasn't a role for him. So it wasn't like he didn't think he was slick enough to play it. So he recommended his SCTV cast member Rick Moranis to do it, and the rest was history. And I guess the same way with this, he liked to add a little comedy to it, and it worked well with his quirkiness.
Saying that machine
blew up my kids?
No.
If the machine had blown up the kids, there'd be pieces of them everywhere. I would have. Sorry,
And I also was so affected by the shrinking machine because I think there was dry ice or steam or smoke or I don't know what he used.
Right.
And then I think it was built on hydraulics or something because when it turned on, it would go up on its haunches.
Yep.
It was really cool. It was just wonderful to see.
It's crazy. He's been on two movies that had some cool firearms away. One right here. I'm gonna do that another time. But other than that, this was a cool little video to see this and see the kids while growing up as well too. We didn't get to see Nick as well as Adam from Blew Up the Kids. They are twins. Other than that, it was a nice little video to check out for sure. Other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.